Tonight's incredible story is cream-filled and chocolatey. I'm Richard.
And I'm Gary, and these are our incredible stories. Hello and welcome back to all of our listeners from around the world and across the United States. We're happy to have you with us again. And guess what? I hope you brought your appetites because this is going to be a very interesting episode. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. I mean, not sure what took you so long to find us, but now that you have, welcome. And we hope that you'll come back for more.
And we're also welcoming our regular listeners, too.
Of course, we always welcome
them. With us since the beginning.
Yeah, of course. So, but if you like what you hear and this is your first time listening to our show, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so that you'll be aware whenever a new episode pops up on your queue for podcasts. So, you don't want to miss out. I mean, that'd be sad. So, and you don't want to be sad. You want to be happy. So be happy by listening to us every Friday. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to what we're going to be talking about today is one of my favorite subjects, food.
Yes, it is food. And it's a very attractive food. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit about the strange history of the Oreo cookie and the Hydrox cookie and what has happened to each. At the end of our little presentation where we tell you a little bit about the history of these cookies, Gary has volunteered to do a taste test. And it requires him getting a major sugar load.
That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for all of you who are listening. So you're welcome.
But we're going to invite you, our listeners, to also participate with us in a food tasting event at the end of this podcast. So here's what I suggest. I suggest that you pause the podcast and you get some of the very food that we're going to be dealing with, get it ready, and then as we taste and evaluate and give it a rating, that you are able to do the same from the comfort of your home. So here's what you need to go ahead and pick up at the place where you get your local groceries. The Oreo original cookie. The Oreo original cookie, cream-filled. The Oreo double stuff cookie. Then those are chocolate-covered cookies. Now we have one that's golden brown. The golden Oreo. No chocolate in that one. And then something called the Oreo Thins. This is a relatively new addition to the Oreo cookie selection. And then the Oreo Mega Stuff Cookie. Mega Stuff Cookie. I've already had two of those right before the podcast, and my mouth is still watering, folks.
Oh, they're good.
And then to round out our taste test, we're going to try something that looks almost identical to the Oreo Double Stuff Cookie. It's from Walmart. It's their great value brand called Twist and Shout Double-Filled Chocolate Sandwich Cookies. Twist and Shout Double-Filled Chocolate Sandwich Cookies. They look identical to Oreos. And so one of Gary's tasks tonight is to see if he can tell the difference between the Walmart, how should I call it, spin-off?
Generic brand. Okay. Let's just call it what it is. It's generic brand.
And the real Oreo packaged Oreo cookie. In addition to these 6 cookies, and if you can't get all of them, you could have 2 or 3. You can do a smaller taste test from the comfort of your home. It'll still be fun. Then also have a glass of milk ready, because what we will do is, as Gary eats a cookie, he's going to talk about the flavor. He's going to talk about the texture on your palate. He's going to talk about the amount of filling that he feels is there. and an overall goodness rating, overall favorability rating. And we have a rating scale of 1 to 5, and we're going to rate each of those items 1 to 5 points. And then at the end of the taste test, we may come out with a cookie that stands above all the other cookies as the number one. So our taste test will take place at the end of the episode. And if you'd like to participate with us, this is an audience participation event. Stop the podcast, get your food and your milk, come back, and listen to where you left off. That sound good, Gary?
That sounds like a plan to me.
Okay, so while folks are prepared to go out and get their cookies, I'm going to share a little bit about the strange history of the Oreo cookie.
Do tell.
Now, Oreo cookies have long reigned supreme as the go-to sandwich cookie on supermarket shelves. I mean, as recently as this morning, Gary, you and I could see that Oreos dominated the cookie shelf at Walmart.
Oh, without a doubt.
Dominated. There were so many different varieties. I mean, we're just sampling a few of the different varieties. What was that new variety you saw this morning? You remember?
Oh, the one that was the Neapolitan?
Yeah, the Neapolitan. I'd never heard of that. That's a brand new variety. So anyways, Oreo is dominating the supermarket shelves like never before. And guess what? 5 years ago, back in 2017, there were 40 billion Oreos being produced every year.
40 billion.
40 billion cookies. Now, not just one person was eating those 40 billion, Gary, so you could never have made a dent in that. But
oh, well, I don't know.
40 billion Oreos every single year.
I have a big appetite.
And for those people who say, I wonder how much money they raked in, well, I'll tell you, $2 billion every year. $2 billion for these cookies.
That's a lot of money.
That's incredible. People feel that these are the best-selling cookie brand of the 21st century. And you know what? There's no argument from me. I believe it's so. But it might surprise some of our listeners that Oreos were once considered copycats themselves, kind of like the Walmart generic brands today. Oreos were once considered a copycat. They were created more than 100 years ago, back in 1912, and they were actually the second of their kind to hit the market. The original was launched by a company called Sunshine Biscuits back in 1908. Oh. 1908, 4 years before Oreos came out. And they were called Hydrox, Hydrox, Hydrox.
Yeah, and it was the name was developed to have a healthy connotation, but it just sounds like a cleaning chemical.
Yeah, it was a misplaced mashup of hydrogen and oxygen, and like you say, it was supposed to suggest purity of product.
Yes.
So let's keep that in the back of our mind. Sunshine Biscuits, 1908. They come out with the Hydrox cookie, the purity of product represented in its name. Now, its general concept was dark, chocolatey cookies sandwiching a vanilla cream center. And the Hydrox cookie sported a nice floral-type pattern on the cookies. They weren't just plain blah.
Right.
They had this artistic little floral design. And as I'm looking at the knockoffs, the Walmart knockoffs, the generic Twist and Shouts, they have a beautiful little, it's almost like a floral pattern, only it's little geometric figures. And so, I mean, this started in 1908 and it's still going today. Can you believe it?
Hard to believe.
Now, 4 years after Hydrox cookies came out with Sunshine Biscuits, Nabisco brought out Oreos. And one of the writers in the New York Times dubbed Hydrox the Pepsi to Oreo's Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah, so as soon as Nabisco brought these out, people were thinking, wow, these are better than Hydrox. Oreos were introduced by, as I said, the National Biscuit Company. We know the National Biscuit Company today as Nabisco. Nabisco, yep. And they are supposedly the highest class biscuits. So the two competing manufacturers, Sunshine Biscuits and Nabisco, engaged in biscuit wars. And Hydrox warning the customers of imposters.
Uh-oh.
And so guess what? For, about 40 years, Hydrox was winning this cookie war.
So what happened?
Well, in the mid-1950s, sales started to turn around for Oreos. And what happened then was Sunshine Biscuit went belly up.
Uh-oh.
Out of business. So that kind of destined Hydrox to the dustbin of history. Oreos, meanwhile, stormed ahead with a slew of innovations over the years, some of which we've just mentioned that we saw in Walmart this morning. In 2019, Oreo set a new net revenue record of $3.1 billion. That was the year that the pandemic started to hit. $3 billion in Oreo cookie sales, Gary. That's a heck of a lot of cookies.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, breaking it down, I love statistics when they're interesting. 92 million cookies were sold every day.
That's a lot of cookies.
Per day. Throughout 100 different countries. But Hydrox was down but not out.
Ooh.
Here it comes. In a twist of fate, Hydrox returned to wage cookie war again. A company called Leaf Brands, leaf as in tree leaf.
Right.
They reintroduced Hydrox in 2015. That's only 7 years ago. Telling the cookie aficionados, don't eat a knockoff. And they pointed out that its cookies are darker chocolate and crunchier with a less sweet filling. And the company also pointed out, hey, we use real cane sugar. Oreos contain high fructose corn syrup. So around this time, President Trump decided to get involved with the war. And he criticized the makers of Oreo for taking the manufacturing outside the country to Mexico, where it is today. And Hydrox promptly slapped a stamp on packaging that proclaimed, proudly made in the USA.
I'm looking at that right now. They have them on eBay for sale.
Yeah, but you can't really get them.
Oh, no, you can get a bag on eBay, but who knows how old they are.
Yeah, right. I have to tell you, Hydrox are impossible to get because we have tried for today's taste test and just haven't been able to. Not on Amazon, not in the stores, not on the online version of any of our stores. We have really searched far and wide and cannot do it.
$30 on eBay.
$30. And like you say, we don't know how old they are. They could go back several years. So, by the way, that proudly made in the USA, you should see it next to the American flag.
Oh, I do. They got a big American flag up in the corner.
Well, as I say, Hydrox cookies are not easy to find. In fact, they're, in my mind, impossible to find. For a while, the stores would hide the cookies behind other shelf displays or to the back of shelves or stack the wrong way so that only the tips of the bags were visible. So, I mean, this war was fought dirty in some way. And then another bizarre twist. President Trump inserts himself again, and he made a second appearance in Hydrox's history in 2020. The Wall Street Journal proclaimed that possibly due to President Trump's talk of hydroxychloroquine for treating COVID-19, Google searches of Hydrox cookies were soaring.
Were people unaware that there's no hydroxychloroquine in Hydrox cookies?
Yeah, well, anyways, they thought, let's check this out. Now, I can only take this from what others have said because we cannot have the taste test here this evening. Once again, Hydrox cookies, you just can't find them anymore. The war is over, but with so much back and forth bitterness behind the cookie sandwich scenes, taste testers have been anxious to compare the two. The Oreo cookie is described as a little more bitter and less like chocolate, while the Hydrox was perceived to have a less sweet filling and improved crunchiness. So that's what the taste testers back then said. There were many impassioned fans on either side of the aisle, but the war is over. Oreo has won, and as you remember from this morning, they dominate the cookie shelf.
Oh, consistently.
There's this variety and that variety and the other variety. They absolutely dominate the space on the store shelves. Oreo cookies, folks, are the 800-pound gorilla in the cookie kingdom.
That they are.
So that's a little of the background. And now, bum, 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 a little music maestro. Bum, bum, bum. Roll of the drums. We are going to have our taste test. I hope that some of you folks who are listening are going to join Gary as he does the taste testing from our studio. So are you ready, Mr. Gary?
I'm ready.
All right. The first thing I have here is an individual package. It contains 2 cookies. You only need to eat one. It's the original Oreo cookie sandwich. All right. So Gary is...
I'm going to go ahead and open this up here. And
opening up the cookie.
I've gotten so used to having double stuffs that seeing this, to me, seems like it's underwhelming when it comes to frosting.
Looks a little puny there on the filling.
Yeah, well, but you know what we did back in the day, and I'm sure all of you are listening, is you break it apart and you make your own double stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why they did double stuff, because everybody does it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to break your cookie apart, you twist that top cookie part off, and the filling pretty much stays on the second cookie. So Gary has now got the cookie in his mouth. Don't drink the milk quite yet. You don't want to cleanse your palate. We want to find out 1 to 5 what you think of the flavor.
I would give it a 5 because it's an Oreo.
All right. He's got a 5 on the flavor. What do you think of the texture on the palate? Are you eating the second cookie in the package?
Of course I am. Why would I leave one in there?
Oh, my gosh. By the time we're done today, you'll have eaten a dozen cookies or more.
So the cookie itself is crunchy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the frosting that's on the inside, because it's really, I mean, they say it's cream, but it's really frosting.
Okay. What would you give that as a rating from 1 to 5? 5 being the highest.
It's sweet, but not too sweet. Mm-hmm. If there is any vanilla, I really can't taste it.
Oh, it's kind of like what they used to describe Hydrox as. But we're talking about an Oreo original.
Yeah. And what I've always noticed about the frosting is it's a little bit doughy. Mm-hmm. Not like doughy, but almost like a very, very, very soft version of fondant. Mm-hmm. Like you can peel it off and you can... mess around with it. It's not sticky or anything like that.
Okay.
So, but it's nice. It's pleasant.
Okay, so texture on the palate, 1 to 5.
Well, for a cookie, I give it maybe like a 4.
Okay.
I kind of like chewy cookies.
Mm-hmm. The amount of filling, a little bit thin.
Oh. Well, compared to all of the Oreos I've eaten recently, not including today, I would say it's probably a 3.
Okay. And overall goodness, this would be your overall score.
I'm satisfied.
Okay. 3?
No, more than a 3.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Oreos original, Gary, 9, 12, has 16 points in your taste test.
Sounds good to me.
So Gary is now cleansing his palate, drinking a nice cold few sips of milk. That's the best thing that goes with cookies, isn't it, Gary? Cookies and milk.
That it is. Now, we have chocolate milk, so I'm having chocolate on chocolate.
Oh, you're drinking chocolate milk.
We don't have any white milk.
Oh, that's right. We don't. All right. Now, let's try the Walmart knockoff, or you call it the generic brand. Now we can hear my microphone.
Now, the only thing is, though, this is a double stuffed.
Yes.
So are we going to do double stuffed Oreos after this one?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So this is the knockoff, the Twist and Shout double filled cookie sandwich. chocolate cookie sandwich from Walmart. I'm looking at it, and it has a very interesting pattern, a design on it, but it's not quite flowers, is it, Gary? It's
No.
geometric figures or something.
Well, no, I would say they kind of like a clover shape.
Okay.
It looks like 4-leaf clovers printed on it.
All right, so here we go. Gary is now going to...
Hang on, I'm examining it.
All right.
All right, so I'm looking it over very clearly. Let me compare it to... Okay, so it actually has pretty much the exact same pattern as an Oreo on it. The only difference is that instead of having the little Nabisco logo in the center, they have filled that in with more clovers. But this is pretty much the same pattern as the Oreo. Mm-hmm. Also, the little clovers are outlined. They're not filled in like the ones on the Oreo. So they're trying to make it as close as possible.
Yeah, without infringing copyright.
Right.
So if you were to have these on a platter with real Oreos, people visually wouldn't primarily be able to tell the difference. Mm-hmm. Now, my question to you is, can you tell some kind of difference between this one, manufactured by Walmart, and the original Oreo?
Cookie is the same kind of crunchiness.
So we got a 5 on texture.
Yeah.
All right. What about the flavor?
There's a little bit of a difference in the texture of the... I mean, it's the same kind of way I described the frosting mm-hmm. on the other one, but there's a little bit of a difference, a little bit waxy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A little waxy.
And I notice that you have screwed off the top part of the cookie. And
it's the only way to eat an Oreo. Nobody eats it like a regular cookie.
Nobody eats it like a sandwich.
I'm sure there's like maybe 2 people in the entire planet that do that. Unless you like to dunk. Now, there's 2 ways to eat an Oreo. You either twist it and eat it, or you dunk it and eat it. Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 ways to eat an Oreo.
All right. And so, he's eaten all the frosting off, and now I just see a bare bottom layer of cookie. So rather than going through flavor and texture and amount of filling and all that stuff, I'm just going to have Gary give us his overall impression and a score.
I would say it's probably like a 3.5. But what I really need is I need a double, an Oreo double stuff and a Walmart double stuff so I can try them at the same time.
Okay, you just ate the Walmart double stuff, and right here, as you can see, this is an original Oreo double stuff. By the way, our sample Oreos came directly from the company's distribution center there in New Jersey.
I hope all of you are enjoying the crackling. I think they call that ASMR, where they do the sounds to make you feel, relaxed and stuff.
Get those.
Now we're going to open the bag. Listen carefully as I peel back the foil.
Oh, there it goes.
There you go.
Folks, he's probably going to eat both of the cookies.
Okay, so also now...
He's only required to eat one.
Now, I see something very interesting. Can you hand me one of the Walmart ones? Because I need to have a visual comparison here.
Okay.
Now, this is different. Find one that's a non-broken one.
All right. Oh, there we go. That's nice.
Now, as I am looking at these right now, Nabisco, I hope you're listening. The Walmart cookie has more filling in their double stuff than the Oreo does. All right, now I'm going to, let me go ahead and take off. Oh, I pulled it apart, and look at that. The frosting went on 2 sides, not on one.
That doesn't happen very often.
Not very often. Sometimes it does.
The frosting stays on one. So this is a revelation, folks. This is something that is a true revelation here.
Okay.
Walmart has more filling in their double stuff than
Yes.
Oreos does?
Yes. All right, now I'm going to taste the cookies. All right, so the first one is Walmart cookie, just the cookie, not the frosting.
Oh, you're cheating. You've already had a Walmart cookie.
But I need to compare them.
Okay.
And the only way to do that is at the same time.
Mm-hmm. All He's taking this very seriously, folks. Are you enjoying your taste testing at home? Hopefully you're also involved with
Okay.
this.
Now,
Here's the results.
the Oreo cookie is more of a chocolatey cookie, or cocoa, more like a
Cocoa? Okay.
whereas the Walmart one is more of a chocolate.
Ooh, I think I'd like that better.
So there is a little bit of a difference in the flavor. One is more cocoa, a little bit bittersweet, where the one from Walmart is more of a chocolate cookie.
Okay, he's biting into, which one is this? Is this the Oreo?
The Walmart one kind of reminds me, if anybody's ever had Teddy Grahams, it's a little bit like Teddy Grahams,
Okay.
the chocolate Teddy Grahams.
Okay, and he's chomping away. There goes the milk to refresh the palate.
All right.
Oh, I can see it from over here.
There's a difference in the frosting, too. So one of them, like I said, the one that's Walmart is very waxy to the touch. Not that there isn't a waxy feel to the Oreo one, but one of them, when I pull it, it just smears like Play-Doh, whereas the other one kind of crumbles when you run your finger over it. The Oreo kind of crumbles, and it's a little bit more, has a little bit of a graininess to it, like the sugar grainy, and the other one is waxy.
Okay.
Does not have that waxiness. Walmart is waxy, and Oreo is kind of a graininess. There's also a difference in color. Like the Walmart one, Walmart one is almost a stark white, whereas the one that's the Oreo is kind of got like a off-white kind of look to it.
I couldn't resist. I'm eating one of the Walmart knockoffs, and I agree that it does have more double stuff than the Oreo does. Okay, here we go with the taste.
I have to say, I think out of the two creams, I prefer the Oreo cream more.
Oh, really? I really like the Walmart. Very good. Very good. Okay. So, what kind of rating are you going to give the Oreo double filled? You gave the Walmart 3.5.
Well, I think the flavor is still the same for me, but I'm going to mark them down because they did not have as much filling as Walmart. Walmart's the generic brand. I would actually say that Walmart's double stuffed is the equivalent of an Oreo mega stuffed. And I know for a fact if I took my my original two Oreos that were the original Oreos and just took off the tops and put those together, they would be closer to the Walmart than the double stuff that we just ate. In fact, I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe I feel like the original Oreos were a lot closer to the ones that are now considered double stuffed than the ones that we had that were supposed to be the original Oreo.
Okay. Rating, please.
For what? For the Walmart?
For the Oreo double filled, Walmart has 3.5.
Well, overall, like I said, I think it's the same, but I would say that I would give it a 2.5.
Ooh.
For the
Oreo?
fact that they didn't have as much cream in it as the double stuffed from Walmart.
We're going to now take a little detour, come off of the chocolate, and what I'm holding in my hands here is the golden Oreo. Now this is the one that's all vanilla, so there won't be any chocolate involved with it. And so we'll see what the cream looks like inside and how that hits the palate. So
Now, we're not, we're doing just cookie, but if we were really going to do Oreos altogether, I think we would have to get the different flavors because I love golden Oreos. I think they're great. My favorite ones are the lemon golden Oreos, and it has lemon frosting in it, and those are so good.
okay, Gary's now eating the golden cookie part. He has unscrewed it from the It's no longer a sandwich, and now he's going to savor the actual filling.
These are just a really good shortbread cookie. So, like, you know, if you're just eating the cookie part, they're very good shortbread cookies.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of like Lorna Doones.
All right.
Now, just for visuals, this had the same amount of cream in it. I put them together. This is a double stuffed. Now, I ate both of my double stuffed Oreos, but as you can see, that's a lot more cream.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, than the original Oreo.
Than the double stuff that we just ate from the Oreo. And if we put this closer to Walmart, hand me one of the chocolate Walmart ones. I'm not going to eat it. I'm just comparing it.
Oh, Gary, I think I've eaten most of them here while I've been listening to you. Okay, there's another one.
They are almost equal.
Ah, okay.
So actually, you're getting cheated when they say double stuffed. It's not really double stuffed. This right here, this is a legit double stuffed Oreo because I took two halves that had both of them had the same amount of cream on them and squished them together, and they are the same size as the Walmart double stuff.
So we're talking about the golden Oreos.
Well, I mean, it would work with a regular Oreo too, but what I'm saying is that we got cheated. Oh, here's the chocolate Oreo bag.
Well, go ahead and eat it. Now, overall, how would you rate the golden Oreo? This sounds like it would get a higher rating.
Hold on.
Okay, we're taking a sip of milk to cleanse the palate. This is very important, folks. If you're doing a taste test, so that you can start fresh with your taste buds each time you put some new item in your mouth.
I would give that a 4.5.
4.5 for the golden Oreo. Ooh, that's interesting. Now, here's one that I've never seen before.
I like shortbread cookies. I really do like shortbread cookies.
And so the golden Oreo is pretty close to a shortbread cookie.
It's pretty much a shortbread cookie with frosting on it.
Now, the Oreo Thins, they are so thin that they can squeeze 4 cookies in just one pack.
What?
Yeah. The ones you've been eating have 2 cookies per pack, but the Oreo Thins, here it is.
There you go. There's your little sound tidbit for those of you that like
140 calories
sound.
per serving. I wonder how many servings are in a pack. I guess you can eat all 4.
You can eat all 4. There's 4 servings. Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, one serving is 4.
All right, so Gary's going to open the Oreo Thins. I've never seen or had any Oreo Thins.
I've had these before, but it was like when you go to the store and they give you the little sample packs.
Yeah.
Oh, man, mine are broken.
Oh, no. These came right from the factory.
All right, so this is so thin, I don't even see any frosting in there.
I don't either.
It's that thin.
Oh, my
I know that
gosh.
there's frosting in there.
Oh, my goodness. Folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I were making the recommendations, I would say don't get the Oreo Thins.
So it is very thin.
Oh, yeah. I would not. They would not be my favorite. They would not be my first choice.
I don't know. I think you would like them because
Nah, I like the
they're
frosting.
still tasty.
I like the
Well, you
frosting.
still get the frosting in there. You can taste it.
If you have a microscope.
This is one of those things where it's kind of
Magnifying glass.
it's like a tease, you know. It's like, here's an Oreo,
Yeah.
but you only get to taste a tiny sample of it.
You got the cookie part, but
Right.
not the filling.
So now I did my own version of the double stuff with the thin, and that's like the equivalent of normal amount of frosting in a normal Oreo, and with just thinner cookies. But the cookie tastes the same. There's no difference. It's just thinner, crispier.
All right. What would you rate the Oreo Thin?
Well, I like to have more Oreo
Filling.
instead of less Oreo. So I would rate this a 3.
Okay. Now, last but not least, this has been one of my favorites, although you've got me thinking that those golden Oreos might be my top choice. This is the Mega Oreo, and Gary, as I look at it, the filling is almost coming out of the 2 cookie layers, almost spilling out over the edge. That's the Mega Oreo, the Mega Stuff Oreo.
I have to think this is almost too much frosting.
Oh.
And I have the Walmart one right here. Let me compare the two because, like I said, the double stuff to me. Now, the double stuff and the mega stuff are just about the same. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say that there is a lot more frosting covering more cookie, but as far as thickness, they're the same thickness. Yeah. So, again, I go back to my original statement that the Walmart double stuffed is the equivalent of the Oreo mega stuffed. Now, what could really make this dangerous for everybody, because this is the mega stuffed, is the double mega stuffed. Can you pass me one more mega stuffed? I can't compare frosting anymore because the frosting is the same on all of them. It's just, it's more frosting.
Mm-hmm. What is Gary going to do now?
He's about ready to make myself sick is what I'm going to do.
He's got 2 Oreo
Mega
stuffs,
folks,
cookies in his hand.
This is the double.
Oh, I see what he's doing.
Double mega stuff. This is a tower of frosting and cookies.
He's put 2 Mega Stuff Oreo cookies together.
I'm going to put them in my mouth and hopefully do not get sick from eating so much sugar.
You know, it's like a sandwich, but he has double Mega Stuff.
I hope I don't go into a coma.
And you're right. Right. Here we go. He's biting into the Mega Stuff cookie. Now, this is not something that is available in stores.
No, you have to make it yourself.
This is something you make yourself by putting 2 Oreo Mega Stuff cookies together, which he's done, and he is now eating a Mega Stuff cookie of his own creation. And what is the verdict on that?
Oh, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. It's really like overly sweet.
So somebody who likes frosting, you can go ahead and kind of jerry-rig your own Mega.
I can feel the cavities forming right now in my teeth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the sugar levels are rising no end.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
But back to the original Oreo Mega Stuff, what kind of rating would you give that?
I think I would give it a 4, maybe a 3.5, only because I do like the frosting with Oreos, but it's so much that it's overly sweet. So I don't think I would enjoy it as much or as many. I think for me, where I fall is probably around the double stuff, because to me it seems like it has the right amount of frosting on it that's enjoyable without being overpowering, where this is, I think it's just too much.
So folks who are listening to us do the taste test, who have chosen to take a taste test with us, what are your results? What have you discovered? What do you prefer? The results of Gary's taste test are in, and it is the Golden Oreo that emerges as the champion of all of the different Oreos and generic brand cookies that we have tasted here this evening. The Golden Oreos, folks, is our recommendation to you.
Well, and if you just like Oreos, they're good. But I'll tell you my favorite Oreo. Now, we just did the regular Oreos. We didn't do the flavored ones. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you right now, if you want to watch a whole thing of Oreos disappear in a heartbeat, my favorite Oreos, hands down, are 110% the mint flavored Oreos.
That's
because they have the green mint frosting on the inside. And to me, it is 100% delicious. I love those. And the weird thing is, I don't know, there can't be any difference in flavor. There can't. Mm-hmm. But at Halloween time, they put out their Halloween Oreos, and it has the orange filling in them. It's really not any different than the other ones, but for some reason, I really love the orange colored Oreos. They're not, the cookie's not orange, the filling's orange. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
The cookies stay the same.
Yeah,
they're either chocolate or they're golden. Mm-hmm. Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this evening's incredible story about the cookie wars and how Oreo has emerged as the 800-pound gorilla on the cookie shelf of your grocery store. And if you've participated fully, you also have enjoyed a few Oreo cookies this evening.
Yes. And I would strongly recommend my favorite, again, the mint Oreos. I think
The
those are
mint
so good.
Oreos. And I would recommend the golden Oreos.
Oh, and if you get golden Oreos, the lemon frosted golden Oreos. And I think the best way, this is a little tip here. If you really like Oreos, I'm going to give you a tip. Try putting them in the fridge. Chill them a little bit. Believe it or not, it will affect the flavor. Oh, and the other ones, I could go on about this forever. They also have chocolate dipped Oreos. Oh my goodness, we got to stop talking about this because I'm gonna make myself
sick
thinking about all of these wonderful, delicious confections.
But all of this discussion about Oreos is proof that Hydrox never really had a chance, and Oreos is going gangbusters.
And we'll continue to do that
Cookie
for
industry.
forever.
Yeah.
So until next time,
I'm Richard.
and I'm Gary. And it wasn't an incredible story, but it was an incredible journey.
Yeah, incredible experience.
Yeah.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.